Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Wednesday, June 1st, 2016. Yes, it's official. The hurricane season has just came in again. And you never know what might happen. I do recall Hurricane Andrew on August 24th, 1992. And fortunately for me and my family, we were okay. We had minor damage, but 20 minutes south from us was very disastrous and so forth. So hopefully everyone out there will prepare themselves at the best of their abilities, including owning firearms, because technically back then and now, the police aren't obligated to protect you as an individual. So if any looters come around, you have the right to defend your property and your family. Okay, so I'm just saying that in good faith, regardless who you are. Well, I'm going to be doing some interesting little topics here. And just chilling a little bit. I'm in Sunrise, Florida for now, in beautiful Markham Park. Nice little campsite. Chilling with my dog. He's hanging out, enjoying the AC. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a rugged ragtag guy myself, so I always like to go in the heat at times. Let my dog be an outsider. But there's days you have to let him cool off. So he likes it, and he's just relaxing right in front of me. So, hey, we'll just begin right now. This is actually came from futuristtech.info, which they recently followed me on Twitter, and I thank them. So I want to check out their sites to make a decision. And what's good about this, interesting about the site, because they do stuff on science, technology, economics, universe, health, and innovators. So that's pretty cool. So I got to really observe these guys myself. So it says here, came from, actually today, by Kirk Nankival. It's the European Commission still plans to create hyperlink tax laws. Yes, so everyone think about how great Europe is. Yeah, let's tax the daylights out of you. Woo! Tax, 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 tax. I want to be a peasant. Absolutely. And as it reads here, the European Commission is clearly still in need of our help to understand why taxing hyperlinks and search results is a bad idea. Their idea of reforming copyright is not going to help and will undermine how people use the internet today. There's a report on it, and there's a link, which I'm going to look at. I got the PDF format, and you can check out the link yourself. It's very interesting, but I'm going to go through that in a moment. But I will proceed here. This issue has been well covered in the past. Tech Dirt, they have a link on there. EU politicians try to create new link tax to protect newspapers who don't like sites linking for free. And Motherboard, Vice. Spain wants to tax the hyperlink. And of course, Computer World by Ron Miller. Spain's links taxes. My patience. Unfortunately, these legislators haven't learned anything in the last few years from previous failed attempts. Nonetheless, the Financial Times reported, I would like to say very clearly that this commission does not have any plans to tax hyperlinks, said Mr. Ansip. He added there is a difference between linking to article and new products and intermediaries where people are making money. Deciphering what the second part of the statement is, wherein the issue current lies. Open Media wants to ensure that this link also links tax, also being called neighboring rights, snippet tax, and ancillary copyright, never gets the green light. They did a great write-up recently on how this is a bad setup. A petition we encourage you to sign and share with others. And let's check out that petition here for a moment. Let's see what they says here. SaveTheLink.org. And of course here, if anyone, especially anyone in Europe who's listening to my show, please, you have to get involved. It says here, tell the European Commission now, do not create links tax laws. The European Commission has launched a new process to push forward their unpopular hyperlinking fee. Let's stop this idea. EU decision makers and lobbyists call it neighboring rights, a snippet tax, or ancillary copyright, but we know what it is, a tax on linking. And of course, here the link tax could make some of your favorite content virtually disappear from search engines. Users all over the world will be impacted. Exactly. Take action to give decision makers a clear, resounding no to the link tax. Together, we can zip this plan up once and for all. And you can read the letter below. Was link tax. For detail, look at the background clack here. The link tax proposed a new copyright giving publishers ownership of links and their little accompanying snippets of text, and making search engines and other sites that use them pay for the ability to link the news and other kinds of content. The link tax copyrights the act of pointing to other sites online. It makes linking a privilege rather than an act of simply sharing the direction on the web. This new consultation contemplates a new version of the link tax that will charge fees for even broader array of links on the web. And take your action now. There's a link here for that, and I'm going to do it right now. And I don't care what they say. Oh, this crazy American SOB don't know what he's talking about. But hey, this is part of the whole One World Order network, my friends. And I will say, yes, I am from the United States, so fuck. Excuse my language. Up yours, I would say to be exact. I don't like using foul language on the show or inappropriate, so that's why I'm making this thing unique. So I add my voice. Bump, 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 bump. Come on, connect me, baby. Yeah, and I don't even have I don't have the money for that juice right now. However, I have sent my message out. So it's stopthelink.org. It's connected to this website and the petition. And of course, Open Media recently uncovered the Commission's plan to move forward with the links tax anyway after analyzing this recent document. There's a PDF format on there, so you can check it out yourself. On page 9, the link document above, they found the Commission's new wording. The links tax is in place. The next copyright package to be adopted in the autumn of 2016, the Commission will aim to achieve a fairer allocation of value generated by the online distribution of copyright-protected content by online platforms providing to such content. And of course, you can really look at this yourselves. It's like on this page here. It's very, very interesting when they try to really sugarcoat these things. Yeah, the digital economy. It will hurt the digital economy. But let's see what page 9 has to say, just to verify. See if there's any more details on here. Okay, one moment. Shoo! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where are you? Oh yeah, so, yep, right there is the third paragraph. It's interesting. This whole thing, what it says right here. How fascinating! It's in a big block, and it says here, yeah, 2016. So yes, like I said right below that, stating is still in 2016. The Commission will further encourage coordinated EU-wide self-regulatory efforts by online platforms. It will regularly review the effectiveness and comprehensiveness of such voluntary efforts, with the view to determine the possible need for additional measures and to ensure that the exercise used as fundamental right is not limited. It's like a little flip-flopping thing you would say, all right? So you can read yourself. It's 15 pages long. You can make your own judgment. I just find this really ludicrous. Like, oh, well, you can't do that. You can't put this on your page. Oh, this is in there until you pay that fee. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, my friends. And I know many people in the European Union and in the European countries do support free speech, right? And free press. Hey, you put that information out on the papers, on the website. Hey, you catch it and you post it. Bam. If not, do me a favor. Do me a favor to all those clowns out there that supports this cause. You just do your own subscription and make the people decide for themselves if they want to purchase this product or not. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to this information age, it's open season. All right. I'm not saying, go rob somebody, anything like that. But the whole thing is more of control, because it's the information war, my friends. They're trying to figure out how to cap it, put a lid on it, control the people. This is how I observe it, according to this our deal here. And I like what it says here about this. Number one, introduction. This is from page 2 of the 15 pages. All right, and I like the title here. It sounds real cute. Communication from the Commission to the European Parliament, the Council, and the European Economic and Social Committee, and the Committee of the Regions. Online platforms and the digital single market opportunities and challenges for Europe. And like I said, here's the introduction. Online platforms have dramatically changed the digital economy over the last 2 decades and bring many benefits in today's digital society. They play a prominent role in the creation of digital value. Oops, sorry about that. I hit it too much. That's the I'm just going to read the introduction. Oh, I hit that too much there. I'm sorry, my friends. A little sarcasm, too. They play a prominent role in creation of digital value that underpins the future economic growth in the EU and consequently are the major importance to the effectiveness functioning of the digital single market. In the communication setting out a strategy for the digital single market, or DSM acronym. The Commission committed to undertake a comprehensive assessment of the role of platforms, including in the sharing economy, and of online intermediaries. Subsequently, the Commission has conducted a series of workshops and studies and a wide-ranging public consultation which attracted a high number of responses. The objective of this commission is twofold. One, to outline the key issues identifying the assessment of online platforms. Two, to present the Commission's position on both the innovation, opportunities, and the regulatory challenges presented by online platforms and to set out its approach to supporting their further development in Europe. This communication is accompanied by staff working document and synopsis report on the results of the public consultation, which provide additional analysis and evidence in support of the proposals in which follow below. So folks can read this yourselves. This is very interesting when they try to make all this effort to control what flows, the flow of information. That's why I start laughing, and it really cracks me up. Wow, looks like Bitcoin has shares now $534.72 a share. Woo, man. That was my mistake, not purchasing that a long time ago. But, that's okay. It's not the money. It's the glory. It's put the information out there. Share it to everyone you know. But I'll tell everyone in Europe, definitely say no to the hyperlink tax laws. Because I know one thing. If this happens in Europe, it could happen to the world and everyone in those countries within the Club of Rome agenda is to control the internet. And we have the power to say hell no. And I know one thing for sure, my friends. Every high-tech gadget will have a flaw, including Tony's subscription ordeals. So definitely stay vigilant and propose this opposition by saying hell no to the European Commission's hyperlink tax laws. And that's how I'm going to end this particular subject. So hopefully people will understand it's all good. So let's see here. Ooh, what's going on? All right. Yeah, man. Okay. Next one here. Looks like big breaking news from Express.uk. It's happening in UCLA. It says here, University on lockdown after 2 people killed with gunmen still at large. 2 people have been killed in a shooting in engineering department of a U.S. university campus. And as it reads here, the University of California, Los Angeles campus tweeted this afternoon that the college is on campus-wide lockdown after reports on gunfire at Boltru Hall. A university-wide alert system for parents and students sent out warnings to students over Twitter at 9:58 local time. It's a.m. The university have now confirmed 2 have been killed in the attack, but police say gunmen still at large. The identifying of 2 victims still not yet known, said campus spokesman Ricardo Vasquez. According to Daily Bruin, the gunman was white, wearing a black jacket and black pants. There's a tweet on that as well. There's live footage if you want to see it. See how dramatic it is. Oh, we need tougher gun laws. But we'll continue on here. There's a Bruin alert. Okay, at Engineer 4, go to secure location and deny entry. Lockdown now. Like run and hide. Meanwhile, one person was seen being carried on a stretcher. KTLA reported as police say the white gunman is active and has not been taken into custody. Helicopter news footage showed students walking out in a line with their hands above head as groups of heavily armed police officers have been running upstairs on the south side of the building to scour the campus. So it's like, yeah, put your hands up. It's like the Oprah Winfrey self-defense technique, right? Witness George Cabahazai, hopefully I pronounced the person's name right, said, locked in the cafe by the law school. I was going to class right where the shooting was. Then I turned around to the Kirchhoff building, and then the shooting happened. Now I'm locked in. Police continue to arrive at the scene as ambulances and fire crews are also being called as a precaution. Both FBI and ATF are responding, and the LAPD have placed the city on a tactical alert. How about just they have the people be armed and ready to go if this so-called criminal is roaming around their city instead of being on a tactical alert. Hope, just get them ready. Don't just have them scour, good grief. Hundreds of officers have been shifted to the Westwood campus and surrounding neighborhoods. The motive for the shooting was not immediately clear, law enforcement official says. People are being asked to shelter in place in an engineering building on the campus, according to the university. UCLA anthropologist and communications studies student Carrie Rappaport tweeted, using my belt to lock the door down. UCLA, as on the UCLA and hashtag active shooter. Using my belt to lock the door down. Oh my goodness. Another onlooker, Antonio Miguel Santos Javinier, wrote on Facebook, LAPD has declared a tactical alert in response to 2 active shooters on a UCLA campus. Radio reports 2 victims down. Stay away from campus altogether. Maish Khan, a 21-year-old psychobiology student, took cover in the library along with several other students. She told the LA Times the whole campus just started running, and I started running too. Everyone was very confused. We got in the building, and no one knew what was going on. A lot of people thought it was a joke or a drill. Another college, although other colleges have recessed classes for summer, UCLA quarter is still underway. A statement from the university said police are investigating a shooting in Engineering 4. The police are on the scene. A report. There are 2 victims. The campus remains on lockdown. The people are being asked to shelter in place. A spokesperson for the LAPD said they had no more information at this time. Social media has erupted through thoughts and prayers for those at the university. And of course, it says here about Robert Montoya. Just got a Bruin alert about the shooting. Stay safe. Everyone's okay. Anyone in the UCLA area that's been shooting on campus, stay home and stay safe. Ken Webster tweeted, we have an active shooter, couple miles down the road on the UCLA campus, 2 people on thoughts and prayers, of course. Corinne DeLuca added, people can't stop effing shooting up schools. CNN just popped on my iMac about a shooting at UCLA. Another user said, I just turned on the news and saw the LA shooting at LA. Prayers and goes out to everyone there. Stay safe, UCLA. Well, it's just another fear factor. If it's actually meritable, yeah, it's horrible. I'm not gonna, say conspiracy theories or anything like that. But the fact is this about UCLA: another firearm-free zone. Okay, that's all it is. And I'm not saying going out there be Rambo or anything like that. The people themselves are the first line defense, not the police, not the SWAT, not ATF or FBI. People got to start learning that the police aren't obligated to protect you as an individual. That's even in California. Sovereign immunity, tort liability. Well, I might just add that to the memo on this article. It's just on and on and on. Is this person on psychotropic drugs? Maybe. Is this a mind control mission? Possibly. I'm just saying anything's possible. But one thing for sure, you're going to see organizations like Code Pink, Moms, moms demand action, and all these other pro-victim disarmament entities gotta call out we need tougher gun laws. California has one of the toughest firearm laws in the United States of America. And what has it accomplished? Nothing. Including that bald-headed geek, Jerry Brown, for signing these stupid, pathetic bills. Treasonous bills, to be exact. Why is that? Because they believe the government is smarter than you and the people of California. When are you going to wake up? I know people out there are uprising, protesting, and calling these yahoos out, which is great. More needs to be done. And one man can't do it. You got to start looking at natural law. And your natural born rights in the California Constitution is guaranteed. I'm not saying going around, like I said before, being a macho man or a macho woman, but you have to prepare yourselves at the best of your ability. The dangerous world out there, my friends, evil and wickedness is always going to be around our environment. That's how it is. Forms of self-defense techniques and tools are a plus. That's one thing I don't like. It makes me angry with this because I expect exploitation, and CNN's gonna do a whole song and dance, and all these little stupid, pathetic, lamestream media gonna go battle, bobblehead battle, and people gonna be talking about this for a whole damn week, minimum. This is why I tell people I am pro self-defense and damn proud of it. Doesn't matter how many firearms I own, but I do have that right. It's not a privilege. I don't need the government telling me when to carry, when to have it, how many bullets I have to own. It's none of their damn business. This is why people gotta learn one thing. 9/11. What happened? What was it? Where was it? In a firearm-free zone. Same thing at Columbine High School. Same thing at it was the University of California, Santa Monica. Same thing. Firearm-free zones. Leaving all your security eggs in hands of the government is the biggest mistake. When will the people in California will learn from that? Like I said before, I know I'm repeating. Forgive me. Action speaks louder than words. But my thought and prayers are out there for those innocent people out there in UCLA. But sometimes you live once. Remember, you have to use force when it's necessary. You live once. You value it. And that's going to be intake on this article. Very disturbing. All right, next one, my friends. Came out yesterday. For the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. Yeah, and I'm not too lovey-dovey with them on certain topics, but this one's very good. And it says here. Now, last article is from Vicky Oliphant. Thank you, Vicky. It says here, FBI wants to exempt biometric metadatabases from privacy and accuracy rules. This is by Jay Stanley, Senior Policy Analyst, ACLU Speech, Privacy, and Technology Project. This came out yesterday. It says, the FBI is building a massive database of Americans' biometric information, including not only fingerprints, but also for face recognition and iris patterns. The Next Generation Identification, or NGI, anchoring for that system, also has the capability to store information on tattoos and such things as voices and gait recognition data, and its collection information, not just of those convicted of a crime, but also on many people who are just applying for a job, volunteer position, naturalization, or military commission, and others who need to undergo a fingerprint or photo background check. With the construction of such a powerful surveillance tool and all the potential abuse that it brings, comes the need for checks and balances to commensurate strength. Yet the FBI appears to be moving in exactly the opposite direction, seeking to exempt itself even from the limited privacy protection that so far existed in law. In particular, the Justice Department last week issued a proposed rulemaking that would exempt the NGI from the protections of the Privacy Act of 1974. The Privacy Act passed when government agencies were first beginning to store up significant amounts of data on American citizens in computerized databases, was intended to give force of law to some basic fair principles for how such data should be handled. In particular, it provided for more common sense protections, and the FBI now proposed to strip away. Today, the ACLU has joined with Georgetown Law Center on Privacy and Technology and numerous other organizations in asking for more time than the short 30-day period the agency has provided for the public to submit comments on their proposal. The Washington Post has a story on a coalition letter. 1. Data people must be accurate, timely, and relevant before you judge them on it. It don't seem like too much to ask, as the Privacy Act requires the FBI maintains records used to make any determination about any individual with such accuracy, relevance, timelessness, and completeness as is reasonably necessary to assure fairness to the individual in the determination. But the FBI complains that assuring fairness is impossible because a seemingly irrelevant or untimely information may require new significance when new details are brought to light. While that light may be true, is also an argument against throwing out anything ever. There is no piece of information that cannot gain new relevance in light or subsequent events. That is true now, and it was true when the Privacy Act was passed. Yet Congress clearly directed that government agencies should not keep untimely or irrelevant information. The law specifically resists the urge to keep everything for all time just in case it might someday prove useful. Precisely what the FBI now says it wants to do. And what they keep, they need to make reasonable efforts to ensure it's accurate. This is the FBI complains. It cannot do it because it goes so much of its information from state to local police. I can see how that would be difficult for the FBI, but it would. But what about the problem for individuals who are victimized by inaccurate data? Just because inaccurate data about them is circulated among different law enforcement agencies at different levels, are they to have no recourse? The FBI appears eager to escape and any lingering burden from its protections of the Privacy Act, but unconcerned that they would create a Kafkaesque nightmare for victims of bad data who cannot get fairness or relief from a circle of unaccountable finger-pointing bureaucracies. It runs against our nation's values and tradition to make convenience for government agencies more for a priority than fairness to individuals. Unfortunately, we've been down this road before. In 2003, the FBI similarly exempted its NCIC database, the nation's primary criminal records database, from the Privacy Act, and people have been badly harmed by inaccuracies in that database. We don't know what the accuracy rates of the NCIC are, but there is long-standing evidence and discussion of very high error rates. A 1986 study for Congress of Office Technology Assessment found only that 46% of the NCIC records were complete, accurate, and unambiguous, as were only 26% of identification records. Meanwhile, a full 50% of the warrants in the system were found to be erroneous, as the author of that study put it. Information systems containing inaccurate, incomplete, or ambiguous information not to violate society's notion of fairness in dealings with individuals. They are also threatening specific due process guarantees that are afforded by the Constitution and statute. More recently, the National Employment Law Project found in 2013 that fully 50% of the FBI's criminal records fail to include information of the failed disposition of a case, such as the fact that a person who was arrested may have been acquitted or never be even charged about Third, a felony of arrest do not result in conviction, but if the arrest records only reports the arrest, that likely to harm to someone who could be completely innocent. An estimated 1.8 million workers a year are subject to FBI background checks. Nope, report it. To all those suck asses out there that believes background checks are good, you've been duped. 2, people have the right to see what information the FBI is storing on them. When it comes to the NGI database, we have no idea what the error rates are, or maybe in the future, and if the FBI gets its way, we'll have no way to find out. The Privacy Act gives people the right to see what information the government is holding on them, and I would venture that most Americans would say that it's only fair that they have the right to see any file that the government or any other bureaucracy is keeping on them. But the FBI is proposing to exempt itself from this requirement as well. What's the matter, Federal Bureau of Investigations? You're not that special. Up yours and give me a break. Flush your platform down the toilet. The FBI gives a kitchen sink of excuses to escape this important protection, arguing that giving people access to data about them could alert suspected wrongdoers of law enforcement investigations, harm the privacy of others, endanger law enforcement officers, confidential sources, or witnesses, or reveal a sensitive investigative technique. Most Americans would obviously support reasonable exceptions to access the rights for things like active criminal investigations, but remember that many millions of people whose information is in the NGI database, only a relative handful are under some form of investigation at a given time. Again, the NGI contains biometrics not only from those convicted long ago and those who are arrested but not convicted or even charged, but also people not involved in the crime at all. But there is no reason why the tiny number of requests from those who are under active investigation could not be exempt or particular information within their files redacted. And likewise with cases where other persons' privacy could be harmed or a confidential source or witness compromised. The FBI already excludes portions of information from the Privacy Act requests based on a list of non-exemptions that cover the kinds of scenarios the agency raises here. There is no reason to completely wipe out an important protection for privacy and fairness for tens of millions of people due to a small number of exceptional cases that can be dealt with in more targeted ways. So we can say this, kinda, sort of, it's the only way, kinda, sort of, will get us through the day. 3, people have the right to correct inaccurate information. The Privacy Act also gives people the right to seek correction when they discover that the government is storing inaccurate information about them. A natural complement to the right of access. This is something most Americans would say is only fair. Nevertheless, the FBI wants an exemption. Not only is the right to correct errors a point of fundamental fairness, it can help the government investigators by ensuring that the data is accurate and high quality. 4, people have the right to take the FBI to court if it doesn't follow the law. The Privacy Act gives the people the right to bring a civil action against the agency. When the FBI refuses to comply with the Privacy Act requests or to comply with any other provision of the Privacy Act, here again, the FBI wants an exception. I'm special, special, so special, special. One that would apply to citizens' right to go to court for any violation of the Privacy Act. Even those from the FBI would remain non-exempt under its proposal. One such requirement is that the FBI make no record describing how many individuals exercise rights guaranteed by the First Amendment, unless parts of a legitimate law enforcement investigation. Currently, if you find the FBI is keeping records of your peaceful protest activities, you can sue them. The FBI provides no specific argument or justification or why it should receive such a blanket protection for accountability. These are some of the most significant exemptions the FBI wishes to create, but there are others, such as requirements that subjects be told whom their information is shared and that they be informed what their data will be used for. Remember that the face recognition images and other biometric information the FBI is collecting will be used not just by the FBI, but by a host of states and local agencies that have access to the NGI database. And at FBI PowerPoint shows the agency is continually researching new ways to make use of face recognition in law enforcement, from tracking subjects and their movements to access control to automate surveillance at lookout locations. Finally, oversight. The FBI and its biometric database is especially important for some communities. The NGI will draw biometrics disproportionately from people of color because of existing biases in who is swept in the criminal justice system. Face recognition can be less accurate for people of color, accentuating the importance of the Privacy Act's accuracy standards and rights of access. First Amendment protections are vital for Black Lives Matter activists are being surveilled by the FBI, and inaccuracies in the biometric database could prove especially harmful for those in immigrant communities who are required to undergo biometric background checks in a variety of circumstances. The FBI proposal points to an agency wishing to maximize its ability to gather and use information about large numbers of Americans used for the protection that Congress has rightly enacted. Unfortunately, the Privacy Act is riddled with exemptions, and those who let law enforcement agencies exempt themselves from certain requirements of the Privacy Act in some conditions, as the FBI is now seeking to do. If it does, Congress should step in. It should ensure that the enormous power conveyed by this biometric database is subject to consumer checks and balances, including the protections of the Privacy Act. And I would like to thank the ACLU for bringing this out because, like I said, this thing I'm not keen with. However, this is vital because why have this government knows best mentality? They've made so many screw ups in the past, and I can give you a whole list, but I'll be digressing. Everyone needs to pay attention to what they're doing. It's time to call these people out. One thing I know for sure, my friends, they want to use you as numbers. You are natural born, beautiful individuals out there within the United States of America, regardless of your color, gender, creed, etc. Support the cause. Fight these bastards too. That's why I do this show, to speak my mind, and everyone can share this as well. Hopefully you do the same in your own methods. We all have different great talents. So I say, hell with their big brother tactics. It's time to counter it with intellectual ammunition and the truth. And there's another story came out. I think it was yesterday. It is by Derek Bros. They say new surveillance tools could give law enforcement access to all public cameras. This is on activistpost.com. And as it says here, researchers with Purdue University are developing a system which could soon allow law enforcement officers to access any public camera system. The tool is designed to help law enforcement determine where and how to respond to crime. Development of the tool was first reported by Wired. The system, which is just proof of concept, alarms privacy advocates who worry that prudent surveillance could easily lead to government overreach or worse, unauthorized use. It relies upon two tools developed independently at Purdue. The Visual Analytics Law Enforcement Toolkit superimposes the rate and location of crimes and the location of police surveillance cameras. Cam2 reveals the location and orientation of public network cameras like the one outside your apartment. As Wired notes, search engines like Slogan currently allows users to access cameras feeds around the world, but Cam2 will make the process much easier. However, David Ebert, an electrical and computer engineer at Purdue University, says Cam2 is simply a way to help people take advantage of information that's out there. Currently, Purdue University limits access to the system and registered users, and also requires users to agree to terms of service which state you agree not to use a platform to determine to identify the identity of any specific individuals contained in any video or video stream. How exactly this agreement will be enforced if Cam2 goes live is yet to be determined, and is what makes privacy advocates extremely worried about potential for abuse. That is true. I certainly see the utility for first responders, says David Moss. a researcher with digital rights groups Electronic Frontier Foundation, but it does open up the potential for some unseemly surveillance. Cam 2 will not allow users for access for private camera feeds, but Gautam Hans, Policy Counsel at the Center for Democracy and Technology, told Wired there is no way of knowing when someone violates the term of service and targets an individual. How exactly government regulation could limit access to this data is also unknown. The system is yet another reminder that the expectation of privacy that most Americans have grown accustomed to is quickly becoming a relic of past generations. Fortunately, the system is not yet publicly available. Unfortunately, there are many other tools available which allow law enforcement to peer into your private lives and conversations. Just weeks ago, activist posts reported on Phoenix resident Brian Clegg and his concern about a box he witnessed being installed on a power pole. Clegg said the box was facing his house and he believed it may have camera inside. The pole was owned by the Arizona's largest power provider, SRP, who claimed no one had permission to put the box on their pole. Brian Clegg said shortly afterwards, SPR sent the crew to remove the box, and later was discovered that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Explosives, a branch of the U.S. Department of Justice, installed a box as part of an ongoing investigation. Officials with the ATF would not provide details of their alleged investigation, would not confirm if they're conducting surveillance in the area. Wow, feds know best. Let's put a camera up here without the allegedly consent of the state of Arizona. Woo, good call. The ATF is not the only federal agency involved with planning surveillance equipment in public. AP recently reported on a former special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigations blowing the whistle about the Bureau's practice of installing microphones in public places, including trees, courthouses, and bus stops. I think everyone should just start talking smack and telling how a bunch of pathetic and scumbags they are in the federal government. So we've got to laugh at, hey, how many you guys pull down their pants and put this microphone in the tree in the bus stop? Yay! The tyrannical way is great. There is also an issue of the FBI's attempt to suppress information about a massive database, which contains fingerprints, palm prints, iris, voice, and face scans, as well as other biometric data of millions of Americans. Finally, there is also an issue of the database of information collected by local and state law enforcement agencies via automatic license plate reader, or ALPR's system. George Orwell could never have imagined his book 1984 would become a manual for would-be totalitarian for the future. The state has the tools to watch, listen, and learn all your habits and activities. The only question is what you're going to do about it. Thank you very much there, my friend. I say this, and if you see a camera, get those laser pointers from the gun shop and start aiming at the cameras and distort it, blast some crazy music, drive them crazy. They can filter it, but you know what? There's ways of going around that. Every high gadget has a flaw. This is why I laugh at these people. You can start mocking them, ridicule them. Okay, if you see a microphone at the bus stop, start calling them out. Go, hey, if I was an Uncle Tom and a bend over Bob and Aunt Jemima, can I get more respect like you idiots can? This is how you have to look at it, my friends. They want to live in fear. They want to be panicked. They want to be good little boys and girls, be numbered, walk around like in that movie Metropolis, heading to work with their heads down. Bump, 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 bump. One crew marches in, one crew marches out. Her conformity 101. Well, this is what I gotta say. To the hell with them. To people who support in these industries, in this business, on putting on surveillance, you're nothing more than treasonous parasites. Bend over Bobs and Barbies to the one world order, and you love the climax over Maltese song. You don't like it? Too bad, because I don't care what you think. All right. Next one here is interesting here. It goes from Op-Ed News. What if revolution were more than a campaign slogan? This is by David Swanson. Learning from Egyptian Revolution. What if the people of the United States came to understand revolution has something more than a campaign slogan in the presidential election campaign? Ahmed Salah's new book, You Are Under Arrest for Masterminding the Egyptian Revolution, a memoir. Early on, it characterized its own title as an exaggeration. Moreover, the course of the book is substantiated. Salah was indeed as involved as anyone in the building public momentum in Egypt over a period of years, culminating in the overall overthrow of Hansi Mubarak, though all of his accounts are of an infighting among various activist groups necessarily have other accounts for each individual involved. Of course, masterminding a revolution is not like masterminding a construction project. It is much more of a gamble, working to prepare people to act effectively when and if a moment arises in which people are willing to act, and then working to build on that action so that the next round is still more effective. Being able to create those moments is itself more like taking control of the weather. I think I must remain so until new democratic forms of media becomes truly mass media. Salah starts his story of the movement building with an enormous criminal action that for the first time in many years inspired people in Cairo to risk taking to the streets in protest. The U.S. attack on Iraq in 2003 by protesting a U.S. crime. People could protest their own corrupt government's complicity in it. They could inspire each other to believe something could be done about a government that had held Egyptians in fear and shame for decades. In 2004, Egyptian activists, including Salah, created a kafaya enough movement, but they struggled to exercise the right to publicly demonstrate without being beaten or imprisoned. Again, George W. Bush came to the rescue. His lies about the Iraqi weapons had collapsed, and he'd begun spouting a bunch of nonsense about war bringing democracy to the Middle East. That rhetoric and communications from the U.S. State Department actually influenced the Egyptian government to exercise a bit of restraint in its oppressive brutality. Also, riding to the rescue were new means of communicating, in particular satellite television channels like Al Jazeera and blogs that could be read by foreign journalists. Kefaya and another group called Youth for Change said that Sahala led used humor and theatrical performance to begin to make it acceptable to speak ill of Mubarak. They created fast, small, and unannounced public demonstrations in poor neighborhoods of Cairo, moving on before police could arrive. They did not betray their secret plans by announcing them on the internet, to which most Egyptians did not have access. Salah believes foreign reporters have overstated the importance of the internet for years because it was easier for them to access than street activism. These activists stayed out of the electoral politics and what they saw as a hopelessly corrupt system, though they studied the Otpor movement in Serbia that brought down Slobodan Milosevic. They organized despite serious risk, including government spies and infiltrators, and Salah, like many others, was in and out of prison, and one case using hunger strike until he was released. Although the general public tends to doubt, Salah writes that placard wielding activists can change everything. Egypt's security apparatus treated us like barbarian invaders. State security had over 100,000 employees to devote to monitoring and eradicating any group that challenged Mubarak's rule. Momentum for greater public resistance ebbed and flowed over the years. In 2007, it was given a boost by workers going on strike and people rioting over the lack of bread. The first independent labor union in Egypt was formed in 2009. Various groups worked to organize a public demonstration on April 6, 2008, during which Salah recognized a new and important role played by Facebook. Still struggling to notify the public of a general strike on April 6th, activists got a boost from the government, which announced in state media that nobody should participate in the planned general strike on April 6th, thereby informing everyone of its existence and importance. Salah describes many difficult decisions over the years, including choosing to work with the U.S. government and to travel to the United States to urge the U.S. government to put pressure on Egypt. This risked ruining or did ruin Salah's reputation with people who quite correctly doubted U.S. good intentions, but Salah notes important instances when phone calls from Washington may have allowed protests to happen. At one point in late 2008, Salah speaks at the U.S. National Security Council official who tells them that the war of Iraq tarnished the idea of democracy promotion. So therefore, Bush wasn't going to do much to promote democracy, and at least two questions leap to mind. should murderous bombings give a bad name to actual nonviolent democracy promotion? And when in the hell did Bush ever before do much for democracy promotion? Salah and his allies tried to convert huge lists of Facebook friends into real-world activists without success. They fought with each other and grew frustrated. Then in 2011, Tanzania happened. In less than a month, the people of Tanzania, with neither U.S. help nor U.S. resistance, one might note, overthrew their dictator. They inspired the Egyptians. This was the getting ready to blow a storm through Cairo if someone could figure out how to surf it. An online call for a day of revolution on January 25th, which posted by former Egyptian police whistleblower living in Virginia, which is also, as I recall, where leaders of the Egyptian military were meeting at the Pentagon at the time. So perhaps my home state was on both sides. Salah knew and spoke with the whistleblower. Salah was against with such quick action, but believing it inevitable due to online promotion, he strategized how to make it strong as possible. Whether the action was inviolable or is unclear because Salah also went out and questioned people in the streets and couldn't find anyone who'd heard about the plans. He also discovered that people in poor neighborhoods were more likely to believe the government propaganda that came over the only news media he had access to, whereas the middle class was spitting mad at Mubarak. An incident in which police had murdered a middle-class young man showed people that they were at risk. Salah also found that most people who said they would take part in a protest said they would only do it if everyone else went first. They were afraid to be the first to step into a large public square. So Salah and his allies went to work organizing a numerous small groups to begin protests in unannounced locations in middle-class neighborhoods and small streets where the police would be afraid to come after them. Then hope, which was realized, was that small marches would grow as they moved toward Tahrir Square, and that upon reaching the square, they will collectively be large enough to take it over. Salah stresses that, despite the existence of Twitter and Facebook, it was just a word of mouth that did the job. But how would one duplicate the sort of organizing in a place as large as the United States, with the middle class spread across so long being sprawl? And how would it compete against any highly skillful propaganda of U.S. media outlets? Salah may be right that activists in other countries who have heard about the Facebook revolution and try to duplicate it have failed because it wasn't real. But a form of communication that can drive revolution remains greatly to be desired, with hints at it. I think visible, not so much in social media as in independent reporting, perhaps in the combination of two. This is interesting. It's like a nicely done here. I'm just gonna see what page 2 has to say. All right, okay, fantastic. And it says here, Salah looks at how Marbuk government hurt itself by cutting off phones and internet. He discusses the use of violence within generally nonviolent revolution and the use of people's committees to maintain order when the police fled the city. He touches briefly on the incredible mistake of handing a people's revolution over the military. He doesn't say much about the U.S. role in supporting the counter-revolution. Salah does note that in the mid-March 2011, and other activists met with Hillary Clinton who declined to help them. Salah now lives in the United States. We should invite him to speak in every school public square. Egypt is a work in progress. Of course, the United States work is not yet begun. Interesting little synopsis there. And David Swanson, he has some good stuff. I know he was on the Scott Horton show a lot. So definitely check him out. But yes, my friends, things like this do take time. That's what movements are about. It doesn't happen overnight. But you gotta plant the seeds, inspire, have common interests. You're gonna have people gonna have your disagreements, but if you have one thing in common, stand side by side. Because like this, what Victor Hugo says, no army can stop an idea when the time has come. That's how I look at this. Action speaks louder than words. And Ahmad Salah made a very good example. Don't complain, folks. Take action. It will get you a lot further. It may take risk, but you'd rather be a free-thinking individual or peasant to a tyrannical corporation, which is our government. All right, finally, this came out a couple of days ago, and is from Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity. It says here, government can't help, it can only hurt. Written by Ron Paul himself. 3 recent stories regarding 3 government agencies, the IRS, the Transportation Security Administration, and the Department of Veteran Affairs. So why we should oppose big government for practical as well as philosophical reasons. In recent months, many Americans have dismissed their flights because of longer than usual TSA security lines. In typical DC fashion, the TSA claims the delays are because of budget cuts, even though Congress regularly increases the TSA's funding. The TSA is also blaming the delays on the fact that few Americans have signed up for its pre-check program. Under the pre-check, the TSA considers excusing some Americans for some of the screening process. To those who wish to be considered must first submit personal information to the TSA and pay a fee. Only a bureaucrat would think Americans would be eager to give the TSA more information and money on the chance to be approved for a pre-check. That means if you bend over for the TSA, they will give you access. What a pipe dream. The TSA is much better at harassing airline passengers than providing security. TSA agents regularly fail to catch weapons hidden by federal agents testing the screening process. Sadly, Congress will likely award the TSA's failures, which continue funding increases. Rewarding the TSA's incompetence shouldn't surprise us, since the TSA owes its existence to the failure of government to protect the airline passengers on 9/11. If Congress truly wanted to protect airline passengers, it would shut down the TSA and let the airlines determine how best to protect their passengers. Private businesses have a greater incentive than government bureaucrats to protect their customers and their property without stripping their customers of their dignity. The head of the VA also made headlines last week when he said it is unfair to judge the VA by how long veterans have to wait for medical care, since no one judges Disney World by how long people have to wait in line. Perhaps he is unaware that no one has ever died because he waited too long to go on an amusement park ride. Exactly. For years, socialized medicine supporters pointed to the VA as proof that government bureaucracy could deliver quality health care. The stories of veterans being denied care or receiving substandard care demolish those claims. If Congress truly wants to ensure that veterans receive quality health care, it would stop forcing veterans to seek health care from a federal bureaucracy. Instead, government will give veterans health care vouchers or health savings accounts and allow them to manage their own health care. Congress should also dramatically reduce the cost of providing veterans care by ending our militaristic foreign policy. Another story last week highlights the one thing government does do well: violate our rights. The House Judiciary Committee held a hearing on impeaching IRS Commissioner John Koskinen over his role in the IRS's persecution of conservative organizations. Those who value liberty and constitutional government should support impeaching Koskinen. However, truly protecting Americans from IRS tyranny requires eliminating the income tax. Despite the claims of some, a flat tax system still requires federal bureaucracy to ensure Americans are accurately reporting their income. Since the income tax is one of the foundations of the welfare warfare state, it's folly to think we can eliminate the income tax without first dramatically reducing the size and scope of government. The TSA, VA, and IRS are just 3 examples of how government cannot effectively provide any good or service except authoritarianism. Individuals acting in the free market are more than capable for providing for their own needs, including the need to protect themselves, their family, their property, if the government gets out of the way. That was Congressman Ron Paul making that statement, and I thank him once again. This is totally a deception, my friends. How when government knows best, you get screwed in the rear. That's how they want us to think. Truth, justice, and the goody two-shoes way. Bow down to the state, and you'll be fine. Ha 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 ha! How pathetic these entities are. I would recommend everyone to do this. When you go to the TSA, be smelly. Get gas in your stomach. So if they start patting you down and taking your extra, just start farting the daylights out of them. Make their jobs miserable. And I'm not saying everyone in these entities are bad folks, but people gotta start learning your natural born right, your freedom, natural born rights, your freedom. You're born with them. It was never given by the government. It can never be taken away. Get out of this dumbed down Pavlov's dog syndrome. They need us more we need them. We can tell them to stick it. This is what people got to start doing. A little rebellion now and then is good, Thomas Jefferson once said. We should honor that. Exercise it by any means necessary. Something like this. TSA need us more we need them. IRS and the Department of the VA, they need us more we need them. Like I said in the past, government needs us more we need them. And one more quote from Jefferson: when people fear the government, it's tyranny. When the government fears its people, it's freedom. That's all I have to say. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the show. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media network. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, or you guys send me something that's interesting, that'd be great, that I could talk about. Whatever you do, please correspond with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, and Scene.life. Or you can email me at LokiLuck3, the number 3, just all together, LokiLuck3 at gmail.com. I'm going to play a song from some friends of mine in the past, a band called Cynic, which I grew up with them in the music scene in the late 80s. Used to hang out at the warehouses and all that. Paul Masadio and Sean Reinhart. I heard they had a little fallout, which is very morose because they're very talented men. Great gifts. And they did a lot of stuff to get a lot of things for metal. This was from the album Focus, which is called Uroboric Forms. Very complex and very talented men, I say once again. So, I thank everyone for listening. I know I repeat this again. Always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you. Enjoy the song.